Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
Yo, I hit the jeweler, got some goals. I sold a little weed, but I could never sell my soul. And when I'm in LA, you find me out in Lil Toke. Come a vocal with my ramen, I'ma need another bowl. Let's go.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of the M&K Productions podcast. I'm a very pissed off host, Mac Movie Reviews, joined here by my co-host, Kristin, aka Miss Flamingo. Say hi to the folks at home, Kristin.
This is our second episode. Hello, everybody.
Yep, I am angry at her, and we'll get into that later why. But we have two guests today. Both of them combined, they make their own podcast. It's called the Infinity Film Podcast, if I'm not mistaken. We have Ben and Rod joining us today. How are you guys doing today?
Hey, doing good.
Yeah, good. Thanks for having us. Really appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
This has been an episode in the making because I've been on the Infinity Film Podcast before a couple times. I recently was on there doing trivia, and that was a lot of fun. So thank you again for having me. So I'm so happy we can bring both worlds on my end together and talk a little bit about superheroes in a way, and not the Marvel or DCU way, but in the Netflix way.
Yeah.
So for those who may not know, what do you guys, what's your podcast about? Where can they find you, and what upcoming projects do you have coming up?
Oh, you want me to handle that, Ben?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Yeah. We're just a film podcast, really. I mean, our main thing, we cover a lot of comic book stuff because that's kind of me and Ben's realm. In terms of where you can find us, I mean, you can find us anywhere you can listen to your podcast: Google, Apple, Spotify, stuff like that. That's kind of a short version. Ben, you have anything else you want to throw out there?
Yeah, we do like top 10 lists, and then like Kristin said, we did trivia the other night, so we try to switch it up, mailbag episode once in a while, and then once new releases start coming out, I think we'll be doing more current reviews.
Yeah, we do some stuff on our Instagram also in terms of, breaking down the MCU Disney Plus shows. We try to do that at least every Thursday.
Yeah, I've been seeing it in a couple of times. You guys have been going live and having conversations with other film accounts. So it's been kind of cool seeing you guys just do this once a week. Just give people a refresher before the next episode goes right into it. And we'll be talking about, I'm sure, the Falcon and Winter Soldier later on. But for now, I think we're ready to get started. Are you ready, Mac?
Yeah, so on today's show, we're going to be going over the film news as usual. Then we're going to be reviewing a Netflix movie, which is an atrocity by its name, named Thunder Force with Octavia Spencer and Melissa McCarthy. And then we're going to be answering some questions sent in by you lovely people. So if Kristin's ready and the boys at Infinity Podcast are ready, I think we're going to go straight into the news.
This is CNN, a network of Turner Broadcasting System.
All right, so today's news for this week's news on the podcast, I got my first news story. Any of you remember Woody Allen?
Yes.
Yes.
I despise that man so much. So much.
Well, remember his
Him.
1970s movie Manhattan, where Mariel Hemingway, great-granddaughter of Ernest Hemingway, she played a 17-year-old student going to adult college, and she fell in love with a 42-year-old twice-divorced writer named, that was Woody Allison, whoops.
I vaguely remember that, yes.
She came out recently to say that Manhattan, the film that she in, couldn't come out today due to the underage romance with Woody Allen being 42 and her being 17 in the.
Oh yeah, that would not work in terms of today, only because we live in the Me Too movement, and even back then, I feel like that would be a movie that would be a little uncomfortable for me to view. I grew up in the time where, this kind of behavior was breaking ground, where it was like unacceptable. And my parents grew up with Mia Farrow and Woody Allen, and they were never really fans of them. They never really watched any of their movies except, I guess it was like passing on TV or like if it was popular or something, but they never really watched any of his movies. Mm-hmm. So they kind of tossed me to the side with watching his films. I only had to watch him for school, but yeah, he, I feel like, is not a good character and would not work in the film industry today. if it wasn't for the career he had like back then.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Yeah, Woody Allen as a person, it's kind of hard to comment on, but the classic movies like Annie Hall and I say classic, Match Point too. I like a lot.
Then there was like Midnight in Paris.
Right, Vicky Cristina Barcelona.
A whole bunch of stuff that earned a lot of people awards and
Right.
earned him Academy Awards.
Yeah. I still like those movies, but yeah,
As a person.
yeah, and Manhattan too. Like everything else, I like because I love New York City and the black and white and the jazz and classical music and stuff I like. But yeah, that relationship was very strange. Yeah, Woody Allen as a person is not the best. So I would agree with her statement there.
Yeah, it's. Have you guys watched the series yet that came out on HBO Max or no?
I have not.
It's on my watch list.
Oh, I highly recommend it. It's the most fascinating series that HBO has ever released.
For all you people out there who may not know and a little confused and who may be on the younger side who don't know about Woody Allen, because I've met some people that are like, who's that? So Woody Allen was a director, actor, screenwriter. He was I would say his prime would be the 70s, like Manhattan, Annie Hall, Midnight in Paris and all that. Would that be like his prime?
Mm-hmm.
So he was it proven or was it just accusations or was it like proven?
It was a lot of accusations and a lot of it was based on audio tapes that like Mia Farrow recorded and some form of physical evidence, not to a full extent, but it's mostly the daughter Dylan Farrow expressing her concerns and the way that she was sexually abused by Woody Allen.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So when Woody Allen was married to Mia Farrow, they adopted a 7-year-old girl and named her Dylan Farrow, and there were signs of abuse from Woody towards her, and he was in his 40s and while she was 7 years old, and then it led to them being married now.
Yeah, they weren't actually married. They lived in their own separate homes, and he would come over and visit, every once in a while, because Mia Farrow lived on this huge, like, lake area. She had this huge house. There was people coming into the house always, like, watching over the kids, because she had many kids that she adopted, and she was married previously, didn't work out. She was at one point married to Frank Sinatra in her career, and then, that didn't work out. She's been an advocate. She hasn't been really in any films because of the career that Allen has pretty much tarnished her name, and it's kind of sad because she's really been advocating for herself and trying to get her any work that she can to help support her family. Because she's basically like a single mother now at this point. Once the whole accusations of Woody Allen came out, and taking care of all these kids, I think she has like 7 kids. I don't remember, but if you can watch the documentary series, it's a very, very eye-opening series.
Like I was just gonna go off with Rod said.
Well, in terms of in terms of this, I try to stay away from Woody Allen stuff. It's just the man makes me uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of reminds me of Bryan Singer because I like a lot of his films. I just as a person, like Ben, like Kirsten was saying, he's just a creep.
Yeah.
So I don't really have too much to offer because I just don't. If I want to say anything, I'm gonna start going on the tangent and start cursing and stuff. So I'm gonna keep my comments to myself.
Yeah, it's like now, but then I also think of the question. I've talked about this to many people. Is it the time where we need to cancel Woody Allen and just say when he needs to be banned from Hollywood with other people like Roman Polanski?
Well, here's the thing. I don't think he needs to be banned. He's just not getting work anymore. Like, there's a difference.
I feel like he's already been canceled.
Yeah, like it's like
True.
He can't. And with Polanski, he just fled to Europe, so it's like that's different to be like, hey, we're gonna cancel Woody Allen. Like, well, here's the thing. No one really there's no one really like. If it wasn't for the series, no one except for like hardcore film buffs or people who like lived through it, they can be like, "Hey, remember Woody Allen and everything?" Because I feel like he was fading into obscurity, and then they brought it back in with this new documentary. So I just feel like
Mhm.
I don't know. You don't need to really cancel him because it's just like this time just did to himself because there's only so much that you could take from like the films where you can realize this is uncomfortable to watch. And it's like what Rob said, like it's hard to. It's not. I love his movies because I think they're really good. I watch them for film class and everything. And like if I go back and watch it, I can at least like maybe try to watch it, but like in the back of my brain, it's gonna be like, oh man. It's like whenever I watch a Kevin Spacey movie, I'm like, oh man, it's just something like it's just I don't know.
It gives you that sour taste in your mouth,
It
It's
makes
like
you feel icky.
It's like, all right, I'll sit here and watch it because I want to or I have to, but there's always going to be that inkling saying like, God dang it, you really screwed up.
Scumbag.
Exactly.
All right, enough depressing news. Kristin, what's your news story?
Okay, I want to start on another note because this kind of can involve spoiler territory. So it has been reported that Fast and Furious 9 is set to release in China this May.
The world has a way of changing, but there's one thing that always stays the same. You miss the old life.
Do you?
Every day.
Get back with the soldiers. If you woke up, wake up. Get back. We got the product. We got the tools.
Crank it all the way up.
We going wild. We on the loose. We are the truth.
Yes!
Rated PG-13.
A month
that
before
means-
releases in the U.S.
Yes, that is correct. So this is going to make and break the box office. I believe it's going to break numerous records in China, given the recent trailer that has come out. We're going to space pretty much at this point with, F9. It was only a matter of time where we're going to have flying cars now and rockets all involved. So my question for you guys and for a discussion is this the right time to release F9 now? Or just release it all in May and just be spoiled because of China and the European and Asian box office because it's going to be opening slowly. I think we're going to be like the last.
Yeah, it comes out here on the
people-
25th of June.
Yeah.
So
Get it? Yeah,
be
we
one of
get
the
In the
last ones.
Heights first, so.
Kirsten, I gotta be honest. I love these movies. There's not a whole lot to spoil, so I don't really care. Like,
Right.
I just if it comes out in May in China first, that's fine. You gotta be careful about going on YouTube and stuff, because it kind of happened with Godzilla versus Kong.
Oh no.
They I didn't get spoiled, but I know there was it released, I believe, in like India and all those other markets like a couple of weeks before we got it, and they were already spoiling some of the fights and
my
the
God.
third act, of course, So it's Fast and Furious. There's not a whole lot to spoil. I don't understand why they can't release it all at once, but at the same time, I get it.
Gotta get
Yeah.
that Chinese dollar first.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. Now, how do you two avoid the spoilers? Is there a time that you know when to go on to like Instagram or YouTube or Twitter where you're like, do you plan it in your head and you're like, okay, at this time, I know this person won't be mentioning it or it won't be mentioning or trending at this time. Do you guys like mentally think about it?
I do not. I will say out loud, "Oh, I'm staying off Instagram to avoid spoil," and then I'll hop on Instagram that day and then forget I said that usually. I will say, Rod and I are both big Marvel fans, so if there's a Marvel movie, I tend to go, or used to go, at least the Thursday opening release days. So I'd limit myself that day until I saw the movie. But no, most things I don't set a time period or anything to avoid. But of course, I don't go looking for spoilers either. So
Right.
Mhm.
And especially since I joined, it's like the Filmstagram, I guess we call it, a couple years ago. I didn't realize that people were a whole bunch of assholes and, excuse my language, a whole bunch of jerks, and they decide to spoil it as soon as they watch it. So I've been really careful about, going on Instagram and stuff like that. But really, it's just I just stay off Instagram until I watch it. Like Ben, I kind of, if it's a Thursday release, if I can see it on a Thursday, I'll just go see it on Thursday so I can go about my day the next day and review it and not care about spoilers. Especially with these Disney Plus shows, I stay up till 3:00 in the morning. I watch it. I can go to bed and not have to worry about waking up on the next day and worry about spoiling. It's all just about personal preference. Some people just don't even care about being spoiled.
I loved the post that you did Rob, about the spoilers about the Marvel. What was it like creating that post and saying, "Hey, can you
Piss
guys
off.
hold off on the spoilers for a little bit"? What was it? What made you
Oh,
want
oh, yeah. I was like, what post were you talking? Okay, I see. I remember now. Yeah. No, because I got some messages from some people saying like, I got spoiled, and really I just wanted to make a post, just trying to let people know, just hey, don't be a dick. Don't, don't,
Yeah.
don't. Just you can wait a couple of days to have this or to make a post about spoilers, and especially with WandaVision there, because it more than Falcon Winter Soldier, there were a lot more spoilers in WandaVision than Falcon Winter Soldier
Oh,
in terms of
definitely.
surprises and reveals and everything. So yeah, I just want to make a post just to like tell just hey, you can wait till Monday morning or Sunday night before you go out and post stuff, because one of our friends, Jacob, he doesn't watch it till like Friday evening with his dad. So I was like,
Mhm.
part of that was just because like just for him, just like hey, don't be that person. If you want to go and spoil stuff, go on Reddit. Just go somewhere else.
Go on Reddit.
Oh, I was gonna say I really like when people do the spoilers ahead pictures on Instagram. At least that's where I am the most. And you have to swipe twice before seeing a picture or anything with
See, I still
the
don't
spoilers.
think that helps, man, because you're still feeding into the trolls, and they're just gonna spoil it for other people anyway. So I get that, and I respect that people do that. It's just to me, it still
There's a
bothers me that
hustle.
people, yeah, you have to spoil it on Friday. What's the point? It,
Yeah,
Maybe
that
the
makes
first
sense.
ones to get it out.
That's the whole
Yeah.
that just tells what kind of person you are. That you're just there for the likes. You don't really care
Yeah.
about being, you don't care about other people. You just care about yourself.
And I
That's kind
see
of the way I
that
see it.
more of that. I mean, there's a lot of people who I follow. I'm not going to say who because I appreciate their hustle. Appreciate their grind. They're doing their best. But a majority now, since the WandaVision has came out, there are constant spoiler videos recapping the episode. And I don't watch them that morning or 3 o'clock. Like in the morning once they get posted on the East Coast time. I just can't because I'm sleeping then. But I watch them late at night as soon as I get home from work, which is about 8 o'clock. I'm doing stuff, and then I get my dinner and I can sit down or watch it. But by then it's like 12 p.m. when I see all this spoiler come up of videos saying watch my spoiler recap. You know, it's a bummer on my end because then it's like, okay, people are going to want to check out the video and not really want to watch the full episode. I just feel like, it's so iffy, it doesn't work with me, but
This is also kind of the problem with doing weekly releases also, instead of just dropping it all at once,
right.
all at once, so you can just binge watch it. I like to binge, but I prefer this weekly format because it gives us something to talk about. It gives
I do
me
too.
and Ben the opportunity to talk about this stuff on Thursdays on our Instagram. So
Hmm.
yeah, just like I said, don't be a dick.
Yeah.
It's really that simple. I really all
Be
that
a
stuff.
wise, full viewer, as like I'm trying to say. We'll also join the conversation of that. But yeah.
Yeah, so Fast and Furious is the movie.
Where that all went.
Yeah, I don't really don't spoil stuff. This ain't 2006 with like Snape killed Dumbledore. Come on, let's cut that out. But
Oh
yeah,
well, I did want to say, Mac, real quick. If Fast and Furious were to come out last year, I think Kirsten or Mac, one of you guys mentioned that about box office. If it's a movie that came out last year, this movie would have easily made over $1 billion.
yeah,
Oh
Easily.
yeah.
people love this. It's still you know what? It's still gonna make $1 billion. I'm calling it right now.
I
Because
believe it's gonna make 800. No, because we
no,
are
it's going $1 billion. No,
No,
people are
we're still in the pandemic. I don't think it's gonna be like. I think we'll get more with like maybe Black Widow.
no. This movie's gonna kill everything in its way because people are like they will want to admit it, but they want to go see flying cars in spaces. Like people love this series more than they think. They'd be like, "Oh, it's just stupid car race." Like, nope, you love it. Just admit it. As soon as you admit it, we can go home. But you gotta just like come to peace with it. Know that you like it because it's like the amount of like stigma. Because one of our friends, David at Flickstock, he made a post on YouTube, and it was like, "Did you like the Fast and Furious trailer?" And it's like 47% said no, while 56% said yes. And I'm like, those 47% need to stop because they've watched a Fast and Furious movie post 5 because that's when everyone's like, yeah, that's when I started watching Fast and Furious because Fast 5 or Fast 7 is like my favorite. I was like, just stop it. You're gonna watch this one. You're gonna watch all of them. Vin Diesel will take your money.
As ridiculous as this franchise is, I love it. I mainly because of its characters. I actually do like all these characters. I think everyone does a great job in the roles, and just how ridiculous and stupid they continue to outdo themselves.
Yeah.
You know,
It's kind of like the Godzilla movies at this point, and they're just fun movies.
Well, at least in Fast and Furious, I can actually I like the characters in Fast and Furious. The
Yeah,
Monsterverse,
true.
all those characters are just stupid and idiotic. But that's a conversation for another day.
Plus, Fast and Furious is all about family, really.
Exactly.
Family.
Family.
Yeah.
I want there to. So did you guys hear? This is another one, Fast and Furious. Did you hear the director said that a crossover with Jurassic Park is possible?
Just stop. All right, just
let's cross over. I'm waiting for the Transformers crossover where they have to take down Optimus Prime. It's then oh no, we have to go fight the Decepticons. We know what it's like to have a family, Optimus. It's okay.
That's more realistic than Jurassic World. I don't know how you would do that, but then how are they doing? You know what? I'm in. Fine. You know what?
Why not?
The more I talk about it,
here.
Well, it's even interesting too is that they asked, I think Vin Diesel was doing an interview and he said that Paul Walker told him to cast John Cena spiritually. I'm like, oh, okay. That's yeah. I'm like, Vin Diesel, I think he might be a little crazy.
Vin Diesel is an interesting character from interviews. If you've ever watched his interviews, they're just so cringy and they're just
I want to hang out with the guy though. I feel like he would throw a really good party or a barbecue.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
I watched him dance to Drunken Love by Beyonce. Oh, go watch it. Mac D, have you seen the video?
No.
Oh my gosh, you guys need to watch it. That's a meme.
Is it better than Thunder Force? I'm sure it probably is.
Oh, it's better than Thunder Force.
I'm sure anything's better than that.
Okay.
But okay, one more Fast and Furious thing because everything with it is just funny. So you know what's funny is that they're having all the characters from Tokyo Drift come back, and that's the one that everyone's like, oh, this is bad, but then it's over time there's gotten a new found love and respect for it. Do you guys know the reason how they got Vin Diesel the cameo at the end of Tokyo Drift? So the test audience before they put that cameo in was it didn't do well. So okay, we need something from the main series to tie it in. So they went to Vin Diesel. They said, hey, you haven't been back since the first movie because you said you don't like to do sequels. And he's like, okay, fine, I'll come back and do this scene, but I want the rights to Riddick. I don't want to get paid. I just want the rights to Riddick.
Oh, you told me this story.
Yeah. So they gave him the rights to Riddick to be in the movie, and yeah, he has the rights to Riddick. Thanks to Tokyo Drift.
Bounty hunters.
Hunted. Riddick! Left for dead. When darkness falls,
Now we play for blood.
the battle begins.
This man sees in the dark.
What is happening?
Time's up. You're not afraid of the dark, are you?
Riddick, rated R.
Rod's just sitting here in pain.
This is so stupid. What the hell?
Listen, if you were a multi-million-dollar actor, you're like, I want this rights to this obscure film franchise that has been moderately okay, but you guys don't care about it. I want the rights to it. It's
You are putting it nicely. Riddick sucks. Oh my god.
He wants to do more movies. He said he wants to do more Riddick movies. He wants to do at least 10 more, I think.
Yeah, that and maybe 5 more Bloodshot movies.
Don't you ever bring up Bloodshot around me, Kristin. Yeah, I'm not a big guy. I can tolerate him in the Fast and Furious movies because he's just drinking Coronas and saying family 50 times.
Really?
But other than that, I think the other thing I've liked him in was Saving Private Ryan and The Pacifier.
Yeah.
And you never heard about him as Groot.
Yeah, he's he's just in here just recording lines for 5 to 10 minutes. Kristin, no.
That is true. So next news, after this because Fast and Furious is love, Fast and Furious is life. So, who is excited that Alfred Molina yesterday on Friday, April 16th, confirmed that Spider-Man 2 version of Doc Ock is coming to the new Spider-Man No Way Home. And they're going to retcon his death in the second movie, and he's coming back for the Tom Holland Spider-Man movies. Who is excited? Or who is
all being played like fools. Have y'all learned nothing? Have y'all learned nothing? I'm gonna go last because I got a lot to say about this. I'm gonna go last.
Actually, you
I'm
go
so
first.
excited. No, Ryan, you go first because you're the guest.
Yeah.
You put yourself in this hot seat now.
All right, look, y'all are being played like fools. Everyone's like, "Oh my God, they're retconning it." They're not Stop whining. Y'all don't know anything. This is just Kevin Feige telling Alfred Molina, "Hey, play the fans, play them like fools." They're not gonna do anything to retcon Spider-Man 2 to mess up his arc in Spider-Man 2. We know nothing, and to see on people complaining on Instagram already, it's like it's maddening. Have we learned nothing from the MCU? Kevin Feige plays us like fools.
Fiddles.
Thank you, fiddles, all the time. So I just say relax and let's just wait until the movie comes out.
I'm just excited. I don't care how it's going to turn
I
out.
am too. I think it's great they're bringing them back. Electro, not so much, but
yeah, no.
Doc Ock, yeah, because I think Ben and I agree.
Just want to laugh at Electro.
Still.
I am gonna laugh if Dane DeHaan comes back as the Green Goblin.
I think everyone forgot he played it.
I have like such a minor soft spot, I feel like, for Spider-Man 2 because it's just so ridiculous, and I have been wanting a Mark Webb director's cut
of the Amazing Spider-Man.
The Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Okay, because I'm like, you said Spider-Man 2. I was like, the hell?
Yeah, because you said because Electro was brought up with that, so I was like, I am on board for that. Release that director's cut because I've been wanting to see a Shane Lee Woodley cut.
I would like to see Shane Lee Woodley as MJ. I feel like she would have been really good, a really good MJ.
I just wanted to see that movie.
Yeah, Ben and I talked about this before on our podcast. It's still my most anticipated film of the year. I'm just getting a little worried. It's becoming really, really, really overcrowded.
Yeah. Did we learn nothing from Spider-Man 3?
I don't think they're gonna play all significant roles. I think it's just gonna be like a minor, maybe like cameo type thing. Because of the
that'd be a waste of time, though.
It would
be. It would be a waste of time, but it would just be fun.
No, but you're hyping up something big, like this big altering like MCU movie, and you're announcing all these names, and then they're just there for a cameo. That's such a cop out. If you do that, everyone would be mad. Or
here's the other thing too. I am just sitting here thinking about it now. What if it's like Into the Spider-Verse, where they all bring Spider-Mans come together and the super.
I don't think they can pull that off yet. I don't care how like established the MCU. I don't know if they can pull that off like to a degree that they want to do like the Spider-Verse, because I don't know. It's something with like, I don't think they're ready yet. They want to build up to that with like whoever they get to after Tom Holland to play Spider-Man. I think that's when they want to do it. But like now, I don't think they're like ready to pull that Into the Spider-Verse trigger yet. I think they want to see how Multiverse of Madness does to see about like the whole multiverse thing. The whole multiverse. Oh, go ahead.
Doctor Strange is in Spider-Man No Way Home. I think they are ready. If anyone's ready, I trust Kevin Feige to pull off a multiverse film more than any other producer, director, studio in Hollywood. I trust Kevin Feige to make it work somehow. Spider-Man Far From Home ended on that massive cliffhanger, and I feel like we kind of already forgot about that. But he's a fugitive now. He's being wanted for murder. I feel like we've forgotten about that. We're more concerned about Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, and Kirsten Dunst and Emma Stone maybe coming. So I'm cool with it. Sign me up. Ben and I we're both big Spider-Man fans, so sign us up.
Huge.
I just hope they don't throw away this massive change in the MCU for Spider-Man, really, and just throw it all away for some multiverse stuff.
Yeah. What they tried to do, years ago, but we're gonna have to wait until Christmas.
Well, it's another thing too with the Far From Home post-credit scene with like J.K. Simmons as J. Jonah Jameson. So it's like Oh, so you're pretty much saying that they're canon, the Tobey Maguire movies, because J.K. Simmons played J. Jonah Jameson in the original movie, so that means it's in the same universe. That's what I got away from it. I don't know.
I still think something must have happened in between the events of. I think there's a plot line missing between the events of it at the end of Endgame until the end of Far From Home. Somewhere in there, I think something happened in the multiverse because I don't think that J.K. Simmons scene was just meant just to be like a cute gag. I think there's something there.
Maybe like the multiverses are like collapsing on each other.
Yeah, that's what I think. I don't know. I'm just saying. I think there's more to it than we're being led on to believe. That's just how I see it. I could be wrong. I probably am wrong. But
Is the Doctor Strange sequel set before Far From Home, or do we know yet?
We don't know. It's coming out
We don't
after,
know.
but it's in the timeline, we don't know.
Right.
No, yeah. I know it takes place after WandaVision.
Yep, very much so.
Which was right after Endgame, so still could be.
All right, last piece of news. I'll let you guys pick. Should we talk about In the Heights or the new Kristen Wiig casting? Kristen Wiig. All right. Have you guys watched Barb and Star yet?
I have not.
Where is it going, Kirsten? You're scaring me.
It's a good thing. I loved Barb and Star. I really enjoyed that movie. But
I haven't watched it yet, so I can't comment.
Okay, so the bridesmaid duo, Kristen Wiig and Annie Malumbo, will pen the Evil Stepsisters for a new Disney movie. According to the Hollywood Reporter, the musical comedy will be produced by Gloria Sanchez, which was behind the duo's Barb and Star, Vista de la Mar. So there's a movie coming up about the evil step twins or sisters, whatever they were, and Cinderella.
Do we really need that?
So we have
no.
Like, do we really need that movie?
And now we're getting Cruella. Why not give it to the stepsisters? Because everybody needs a backstory at this point.
Yeah. It's like, do we really need this movie? Like, who's in there like, man, you know what we need? We need to know about the evil stepsisters and Cinderella that no one remembers the name of, unless you're a hardcore Disney fan. Let's make that movie, huh? Like, it's like that's totally
and Drizella.
Okay, so you're a hardcore Disney fan, but I'm just saying,
I am a Disney fan.
But it's just a casual, like me, Ben, most likely Rob. We're not gonna know or care their names. And we're just like the two evil stepsisters. It's just like, who wants these movies? Like the hell, man.
Yeah, I don't know. They're overstepping a little bit.
Yeah.
I guess some of the villain backstories, instead of recreating their movies again to live action, which they're still doing, of course. But some of the villain backstories I can kind of see, I guess, because they're more so beloved characters. Cruella and Jacob actually had an idea of doing like a Scar, backstory movie and stuff.
That's
I mean,
kinda
stuff
cool.
like that would be interesting. But yeah, the Drizella and the other one, we don't need to see that. Yeah. It's kind of weird, but I don't know. I mean, I like Kristen Wiig a lot, so and her the other acting partner I haven't actually seen. I don't think.
Yeah, you gotta watch Barb and Star, and they were, like I said, they were in the article said they were the two behind Bridesmaids. So if you really really enjoyed that, then maybe they might have something good to come up with their sleeves with this one. I don't know. I think it's kind of unnecessary to create something like that because we haven't seen what Cruella is like.
Just Joker.
Okay. I'm not gonna judge it too much because I really really want to see it. But we've seen what Maleficent had, and it's got some fans, and then it's got some fans that are like, no, we don't need it. How do you feel, Rod?
Why are we still here?
Yeah, I just Ben, we've talked about the Disney live action remakes before, and it's really become overblown. It's just to do this. No one cares. This is gonna bomb. This is gonna bomb. I'm calling it right now. This is gonna bomb.
You think so?
I would say that too, but I feel like it's gonna make money because the Disney rabbit fans will go see this.
I feel like this would do significantly well. Like I think this would be it's gonna be set for like a Disney Plus. It doesn't say in the article, but I feel like this is gonna be like one of those times where it's gonna be like the premium access movie You know, where you pay the $30 or you go see it in theaters, given the content of the situation.
I will say this: the actual live action Cinderella with Lily James, I actually like that one. I like that.
I really like that one.
I
I think that
like
one's
that.
I think that one's my favorite out of all of them, besides the one
I
in
like
here.
I like to say Christopher Robin's my favorite. I hate every single one of them. I especially hate Lion King so much. Like that movie should just die, just
There
in
was
a
so
fire.
much hope.
No, I was not hopeful. The first trailer, I was like,
In a
this movie
way.
looked this movie looked terrible. That movie looked terrible. And then like, I don't know. When you meet this is Papa Mac talking for a second. When you go on dating apps, so like Tinder or Hinge, ladies, if you put your Disney fanatic on there and then you have an opinion about a Disney live action movie, you need to be open to say that these movies are not that good. And you can't be getting defensive and block me because I tell you the truth.
Okay, wait. Mac, did this happen?
I don't know what you're
Mac, what is going on here? What happened with this story?
My question is, how many times did that happen?
I mean, like, 3 times. Because, like, they'd be like, here's all my Disney collection. And I told them, I say,
figures.
it's like, it's like this one girl I talked to her, she had, like, a whole glass cabinet full of, like, Disney glasses, Disney cups, Disney posters. I'm like, Jesus. And she asked me the live action movie. I said, the live action movies are crap. Like, the only good one is Christopher Robin. And we went on, like, an argument for literally an hour about how I'm a hater and I hate success from live action movies.
Mac.
And I remember one time in class, one of my classmates and I, she said that like the live action Lion King movie, and I was like, that movie's like shit. And she was like, no, it's not. I was like, I literally said, you're paying to watch the animated movie just with enhanced 4K graphics in like a celebrity cast. And her face was like, no. And I said, have you seen the original? No. And I just like, there you go.
No way.
Yep.
Wow.
Why could you not see the original Lion
A lot of
King
people
and then
have-
go watch that?
A lot of people have not seen the original. It's just a shocking amount of people I've met that like I've never watched the original Lion King, but they've seen the 2019 one, and that generally pisses me off.
I forgot which celebrity it was, but they posted a photo of their kids watching the live action one. I was like, why are you watching that one?
I'm calling DSS.
I don't remember who it was, but it was like one of those Instagram moms, or maybe it was like Dwayne Johnson or something. I don't remember, but I would have to go deep diving. But I was like, no, don't watch this one. Go watch the original with Timon and Pumbaa. So, but that's on the Disney end. But other than that, I guess that's it for news. So
that's Rob. I'm sorry, Rob. Rob. Rod. There we go. Rod and Ben have anything else to add about Disney and their reign of terror?
I don't hate all the live action remakes. I like I said, like Cinderella. I actually think Jungle Book is quite good. I really like the Jungle Book remake.
Same.
Ben, I talk about the Lion King a lot. It seems like, and here we go again, Ben.
We're branching out on other pods now.
Yeah. I don't hate it as much as most people do. I find some enjoyment in the first half. The second half, I really don't like. I just think it kind of falls off the rails. But I do enjoy the first half, and I did like Aladdin. So there are definitely some that I do like. Hearing this, and you guys are right, it's gonna make money, and this is why we're gonna keep continuing to get Disney live action remakes, because their marketing people are always on the top of their game. They know how to get us in. And I mean, they're probably the most trustworthy studio. I mean,
that's an oxymoron.
But yeah, that's kind of my 2 cents on it. So
yeah, we're gonna, or people are gonna keep going to see them, and they'll make money, and then Disney will think, oh well, this made money, so that's a good idea. So they're gonna keep making them, and the cycle continues. The circle of life, really.
Yes.
But yeah, kind of like I was saying. Yep. The villain stories are new, and they can do backstories, and I guess it's kind of interesting. But these two sisters are not the first ones I'd pick. But I don't know. We'll see.
Last ones either. I don't even think about them.
Yeah.
Can we get a backstory to Gaston? Like that's a movie I wouldn't mind watching.
We're getting that with the.
I forgot.
With the Disney Plus thing. I don't.
Well, no, I want a movie. I don't want a series. I want a movie. Let The Rock play him and let people gush about him.
Well, it's Luke Evans, and I think he was the best part in Beauty and the Beast. Everybody else in that Beauty and the Beast movie wasn't good.
There's a whole lot of bad in that movie.
Yeah.
But it made $1 billion.
Yeah,
true.
which is a shame, and I'm just like, oh, why did that movie make money? It was so bad.
Well, that's gonna do it for the news because we're gonna pop a blood vessel each time about these live action Disney movies. So if you got any news for us, you can always send it to Kristin's Instagram or my Instagram. The links will be in the bio.
Or you can send it to our new IG page, the M&K Productions Podcast on Instagram.
That too, but I prefer you come to my PO box. We can be best bud. So to continue the negativity, let's talk about Thunder Force.
This sucks, man.
All right, so today's review, we're reviewing Netflix's new movie, Thunder Force, which stars Melissa McCarthy and Octavia Spencer, and is directed by Melissa McCarthy's husband, that'll come into play later, by Ben Falcone, who also did Superintelligence and Tammy. And the plot of this movie is that two childhood best friends, played by Spencer and McCarthy, they invent a way to become superheroes in a world where criminals have developed superpowers and are called miscreants. So yeah, this released on April 9th, and it has been getting slammed by critics. And all of us can agree that this movie is well-deserving, but this movie is a huge steaming pile.
Yeah, it's not great. I was thinking of a film I wanted to talk about you guys because you guys are the Infinity Podcast. You talk a lot of Marvel stuff and DC every once in a while. So I thought it'd be fun to change it up and review Thunder Force. So I wasn't a fan of it. Mac isn't a fan of it. And I bet you two weren't a fan of it either.
I think our idea of fun differs, Kristin, because yeah, no, I kept waiting for a funny joke because I heard this was a comedy, but no, it didn't come.
No.
And I'm a fan of Octavia Spencer, and I'm a fan of McCarthy in some films, and I'm a big Jason Bateman fan too.
Yes.
And I like his style of comedy. But yeah, together in this movie that Rod actually accidentally called Thunder Crash on our pod the other day, couldn't even remember the name. So yeah, it was. I honestly imbibed a little bit and had a little alcohol, Friday night.
That's what you have to do when watching this. That's what I did.
It did not help that much.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of my overall thoughts. But I know we'll dive into it. Rod, you got something to say?
I've got a lot to say.
You ready? You ready to go off? I'm ready for it. I'm sitting here. And I'm just waiting.
I don't understand why.
Your reaction. You guys can't see it now, but I'm loving Rod's reaction.
This movie is something else, man. I thought I've seen it all when I last year Artemis Fowl came out, and I was like, that had to be one of the worst movies I've ever seen. And then I saw Bloodshot, and I was like, oh no, wait, that's the worst movie I've ever seen in my entire life. No, I take it all back. No amount of Captain Morgan, not a handle of Captain Morgan, was enough to get this damn movie, guys. I swear. I was like, it opened, and I'm like, okay, nice little introduction. It's not, great setup, but I'm okay, and I can see why they would be friends. And okay, we're back to the whole Melissa McCarthy shtick. Okay. Yeah, this is a really, really god awful, just a horrendous piece of what. I might have to go to church tomorrow just to kind of ask God for forgiveness because I can't believe I watched this. This was Ben, Kirsten, Mac, and you, Kirsten, you.
Yes, blame me.
Yeah, you.
Yes, blame it all on me.
I'm gonna go off on a tangent a little bit. So give me a second, because when I first met Kirsten, I was like, this woman has taste. She knows her films. She knows her stuff. She's come on our podcast a couple of times and talk about some really good films. She even, she was the person who got me this Film Independent membership, and I was so thankful and recommended me all these great films. And then when we talked the other day, she's like, "Yeah, Thunder Force." I was like, "Oh, that's a good joke, Chris. That's funny." And then I told Ben, and I forgot Ben's reaction. I think Ben was like, "Why?"
We all have to face a bad movie every once in a while.
I try
we
to avoid
always have
this,
to.
Chris. I don't want to be negative. Ben and I try not to be negative on our podcast, but since we're on your podcast, I'm going to be negative.
Yeah, go off. That's what we love. I mean, you should hear us when we talked about Hubie Halloween.
Or Artemis Fowl.
Or Artemis Fowl.
Well, this makes Artemis Fowl look like a Best Picture contender. So let's go.
Okay, so first off, let's talk about the casting.
This is what happens when your husband is the director. You get work no matter what.
Yeah.
I was going to save that for last. I was going to save that for last. Why does this keep happening? Why does Hollywood keep allowing this to happen? Seriously. Have we looked at Tammy or Super Intelligence or Life of the Party, or they did something else together too, right?
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
The Boss.
The Boss. Another bad one.
Have we learned nothing?
I didn't see Life of the Party or Super Intelligence. I've seen Tammy, and I've seen whatchamacallit? The other one, The Boss. Mm-hmm. They weren't good.
No.
So I was like, I always root for people. If they make a bad movie, maybe they'll just, eventually get there. They could learn from their mistakes. Because everybody, makes mistakes. Everybody has those days. That's what Hannah Montana said. You gotta improve. You go back up and you dust yourself off. And we've seen this time and time again that Ben Falcone does not take, critics or fans seriously. He does what he wants, which is, fine. But if he wants to make a good movie, he needs to start listening to others and say, hey, maybe don't include this or don't make the same casting choice or character tropes. Because basically, Melissa McCarthy plays Melissa McCarthy in this film, and she's like the same bubbling, funny lady, oh, I'm so goofy, I like nostalgia and all this Van Halen, blah, 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 I'm so mom-like, I have this job, I'm single, I really want a nice-looking guy. So we've seen it all before.
Yeah, it's just like the casting. Melissa McCarthy and Octavia Spencer, God bless them. They're Oscar-nominated actors and everything.
Mm-hmm.
They've been in.
We have Octavia Spencer is an Academy Award winner.
Well, when there was actually no chemistry in this movie. I don't know what I was like. The chemistry, I felt like they were just going through the motions, and it was just like, man, you two seem like you don't want to do this, or like Octavia seemed like she didn't want to do this. Yeah. But I think her and Melissa McCarthy are actually friends. So
they are.
So I think she got like, hey, I'm doing this movie on Netflix. Me and my husband, we want you to be like the second lead. They're like, okay. But I just felt like Octavia Spencer just did not want to do this at all.
Octavia Spencer would be great in a superhero film. I just wish it wasn't in Thunder Force. I think she would fit well in the MCU, playing like, an assistant to maybe even in like Captain Marvel or even in one of the new series. I mean, she would do good given her acting skills. I just wish she wasn't playing this type of character in Thunder Force, because I felt like she was so bland in this film. And maybe it was because of her character. I mean, how did you guys feel about her in this film?
She's a nerd.
Yes.
Not a nerd. She's smart.
She's smart.
There's a
She's
difference.
Smart. Oh, yeah, that's right.
Is the turnaround line, which is just ridiculous. Yeah, I feel like they focus more on her daughter, really, than her. So she doesn't even have a chance to shine, really.
If anything, Melissa McCarthy had a better connection with the daughter than her own friend. And I was like, okay, maybe there could have been something around, involving a super smart teen and this lady who could have developed really interesting superpowers. Wouldn't it still been a good film? Maybe, but at least would have been a little bit more watchable, because at least the chemistry would have worked a little bit better. But yeah, Rod, how do you feel about Octavia Spencer?
She's too good for this. Why? this is what I like to call I'm here for the paycheck.
Yeah.
She had some mouths to feed. She said, okay, I get to hang out with my friend for a couple of months and shoot this ridiculous movie. Grab me my paycheck, and I'm gonna forget all about this and go do something else. Unfortunately, this is so seared in my brain now that I'm never gonna forget this, and I wish I could. Because
Okay.
I don't think I've ever seen a worse performance from Octavia Spencer than I have in this movie. I think she is one of the 20 best actresses, probably a top 15 actress working in Hollywood right now.
She's making a lot of money. I will say that from given her extensive career. She does very well when it comes to dramas. And maybe most of the comedies. I feel like she hasn't excelled in many comedies since Identity Theft was okay, the more I thought about it. And, I don't think her performance hasn't shined since, like, a comedic performance since Bridesmaids. Yeah.
You're talking about Melissa McCarthy?
Yeah.
I liked her in Spy. That's the last thing I liked her in was Spy. Other than that, I haven't really been the biggest Melissa McCarthy fan. I love Bridesmaids a lot. I think it's one of the best comedies of the 2010s.
Yes, very much so it is.
Even though the movie itself is bad, I actually did mind the Happy Time Murders. I thought there was some fun to be had.
I forgot about that movie. Oh my gosh.
There's not a whole lot to remember about that movie, but there's some gags I enjoyed. When we're talking about Melissa McCarthy, I'm so sick of her. I really am. I'm done. I've seen this one too many times.
Mm-hmm.
Her falling down like an idiot or eating raw chicken, which was disgusting. Or
yeah, I think that was probably I was going to ask you guys what was the worst joke, and I think you just took that right out of my mouth, was the raw chicken thing. Like, I just thought that was a weird trait to develop, especially for a superhero. And given the extensive power that she has, she's like mostly a super strong person.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like any person who would eat chicken, they would at least cook it. Even if you're building muscle.
They explained it like, oh, you have to eat raw chicken. I'm like, what's like some science mumbo jumbo? And I was like, Jesus Christ, man.
Get some salmon at least, maybe, and then smoke it, and then maybe you'll be good.
No, like she couldn't eat seafood, remember? Because she dated a crab man.
Oh right, those crabs. Oh dang, Jason.
Honestly,
Bateman
Jason Bateman was the best part of this movie.
I had no idea he was in this.
I agree.
He was just him. I love Jason Bateman. He was just him.
Jason Bateman, and I had no idea he was starring in this movie because I love Ozark and just love about every single thing that he's done with his career. When he popped up in this, I was like, I literally did like a 360. I'm like, what are you doing here? Like, get out of here! Get out of here! Go, the exit's that way. Go turn around. Is this a cameo? Goodbye. And it wasn't. And he played her love interest. And the part that really drove me nuts is that they have a friendship chemistry, and I don't think it works out in a relationship because
they were forcing it.
Yes, because it brings me back to Identity Thief. Because they were great. They had good chemistry in Identity Thief. I felt, it's like I said, it's not the best movie, but they're two comedic actors who both have good comedic timing together. But like what you just said, their love felt forced. It didn't work.
You're putting it way too nicely, but I'll leave it at that, Kristin.
No. You're gonna go. No. What is off about that?
I lost all my interest in that relationship when she was having that whole vision of them dancing. I couldn't stop laughing. I was like, "What in the world is this?" That had what was that? Birds of Prey vibes. If anyone's seen Birds of Prey.
Oh yeah, when Erin McGregor slapped Margot Robbie and she was thinking about like dancing with him and everything. I was like, what the heck?
Yeah, I had complete Birds of Prey vibes.
Thing, the Marilyn Monroe thing. That was you're going back to that. Oh yeah.
But yeah, I agree with you, Kristin. I think Identity Thief is actually not. It's a perfectly fine like Saturday afternoon watch. There's nothing wrong with it. I think it's okay, and I think the best part is their chemistry. Here, I think it was the crab hands. That was distracting a lot.
That really was the main thing. I know they were really selling it on the crab hands, but maybe unless they got a different actor, then I would understand. However, Ben Falcone like I said, he's one director who, like I just previously mentioned, he's a director who hasn't, learned. And now you've been able to pick up his traits. He casts her husband, not husband, oh my gosh, his wife, excuse me. He'll cast his friends from Melissa McCarthy's, cell phone list. Who are you going to call up to be in this movie? And then Melissa McCarthy will probably speed dial, oh, let me just get Jason Bateman. He'll be here in like 2 months to do it. And then,
it's the Adam Sandler effect.
It's the Adam Sandler effect.
Yeah, it sounded like Sandler.
It's going to become the new drinking game. If you think about it, if you want to watch a Ben Falcone movie, if you want to get together with your friends and be like, all right, drinking night, guys, let's watch Ben Falcone. And every time Melissa McCarthy falls, or she has to eat something weird, or she's got to Bobby Cannavale is in it because now he was in Super Intelligence, and I think he was also in another Ben Falcone film. I don't know if that was true, but he was also in Thunder Force. So,
What's funny is that I think Rod mentioned it with like the comedy waiting to laugh, and like that's another thing with like having your significant other as a significant role in the back scene area, especially director. When you have more range to improvise and go off script because what you're not gonna write for you. And the thing with Melissa McCarthy is that she had a lot of ad libs and improvise in the movie. And it just didn't. It got to the point where it's like you need to just get reined in because you're going way too far. You're trying to be that funny person in the movie, and like you're not. You're just kind of like going on and on.
Maybe she was practicing some stand up.
No, she doesn't have a future in it then because she did. Some of the ad libs were just annoying, and they just kept going and going, and it's just like read the room. No one's laughing. No one was laughing at her ad libs almost. Like it was like silence every time she spoke, and it's just like, God, like you guys shut up, please. Like you just keep going and going, and like she had free range to do that, and I did not like that at all.
I chuckled one time, and that was the Steve Urkel. The Steve Urkel bit where she was.
I didn't like that one.
I didn't mind that. I was like, that was all right. I didn't mind it. That was the only part.
That was her worst. That was one of probably the worst Steve Urkel impressions because I love Family Matters so much. I grew up with that show, watching it every single night, and I, would love to watch impressions of people doing that. And Melissa McCarthy did give one of the worst impressions I've ever seen.
I was about to call that out as one of the worst sequences of the movie, because it's like that beginning.
That's not the worst.
Learning one of them.
Oh, okay.
But just her learning her powers and doing the little training montage thing, it just like it took forever. The jokes were not funny. She keeps going on of the joke too with like Jodie Foster and everything. And I mean, I've heard of Nell, but I haven't seen the movie either. So getting on them for not seeing Nell was kind of weird. And then that Urkel thing. I mean, everyone has their little then I do that and the pushing the glasses and stuff. But she did it like 5 times in a row and then was like shuffling around the room. Oh my gosh.
I think everybody gets it.
I think I cringed more with the Fortnite references in 2021.
that was like,
and she was dancing at the end.
She was Fortnite dancing at the end. I was like, get out of here.
Thunder Force. I was like, stop. You obviously listen to your daughter. Yeah, she's got daughters.
She was dancing. It was just like, ugh. And it's like, it was funny too, because I'm like, no one like, when they were playing Fortnite, there's another like little nitpick. It's like they're playing it on a tablet, and even with that looked like the most laggiest game of Fortnite on a tablet. Because I'm like, first of all, if you FaceTime while you're playing Fortnite on a tablet, what the hell's wrong with you? Just get a console like everyone else. And like,
they're not gamer girls, obviously.
They weren't even playing the game. It's like they're just tapping the screen and like, hey, pretend you're playing something. I'm like, oh my gosh.
We're relevant. We can kick it with the kids.
Well, Fortnite has been relevant almost like 2
years,
2-3 years maybe. Actually, last year because they had Travis Scott.
And then they had Ninja's been around for a while, so.
Well, he's died off. He's not really popular.
This movie does one of the things I hate in movies, and it's like, well, I'm gonna leave, but don't touch anything.
Oh,
I don't know why that stuff always bothers
That
me
trope
because
is
of
kind of-
course
She's
she's gonna go touch stuff. What,
Yeah.
I
Have you
don't
not
understand why
learned?
we have to continue to go back and using that trope.
It's dumb
over and over.
characters. That's what it all boils down to, and
It
it's
just
just
annoys
like
me
not.
so much.
It's not, and it's all about making like he makes it the Ben Falcone makes his characters dumber than the actual audience because we're all not dumb people here. We have a smart panel right here between the four of us talking. It's like stupid talking cat almost. I would like to put it as there's just stuff if a human wouldn't do, then your character shouldn't be doing it. As I would like to see it as.
But I think. Oh, go ahead, Ben. I'm sorry.
I was just gonna say, I feel like he saw some superhero movies, Ben Falcone, and then was like, "Oh, I could do one of those, but I want to see it as a full-on comedy." And
That's what people say.
yeah, which really did not work. But yeah, I don't know. What were you gonna say, Red?
Just another thing. I'm gonna shut up about Melissa McCarthy. There's lines in movies that they look really bad on paper. But execution wise, if you have a good actor, execute them, it can work.
Did you guys?
There's a line in here.
Oh no! Say the line first.
Out of the park. I swear. I really wanted to throw my TV out of the window because that was one of the most cringeworthy between the delivery and the way and the fact that that line was even on the script.
Which line was it?
When she hits Ben Falcone and she's like, "That I hit that one out of the park" or something like that. And you remember that? Okay, well I remember it. It happens in the third act where she takes something and hits him out the.
She took like a pillar from the building and like hit him out of the building.
Thank you.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Okay. It was just.
Wait, that was Ben. Was that Ben Falcone she hit?
No, that was Bobby Cannavale.
I was gonna say what?
Yeah. Here's what happened. Meg, I know we share a fair share of stories where you told me you've fallen asleep through a musical.
You fell asleep during this movie, didn't you?
I fell asleep at the last 2 minutes, and I said, "Oh no, I have to go back and watch it."
Don't tell me you started the whole movie again.
No, I just went.
Okay, thank God.
I woke up to the cheers of Thunder Force, and I'm like, oh, is the movie over? Great, and I had to go back.
We just talk about the name that they have for the villains, the miscreants. Like, first of all, I told my mom that, like, hey mom, the villains, like, they call them miscreants. She's like, oh, that's a relevant vocabulary for the 1800s. Yeah, I'm like, who is going around calling people, oh, you miscreant, you scallywag, you.
Sounds like a pirate.
I think it.
Yeah.
It sounded like mutants, and they couldn't use mutants, so he went with that. And that's as far as I thought about it.
You cheap bastard.
What do you guys think is worse?
This.
This.
No. Four Stick or which is Josh Trank's film, or shoot, what was the other film? I can't even think.
Thunder Force.
Or Thunder Force. Which one is worse, Josh?
Yeah, this because
this.
I'm like the biggest fan for Stick disapprover, but I love Josh Trank. I could tell he was trying with that movie, and it was just Fox and like production issues and everything that but if like Fox didn't meddle and maybe he did his own movie, it would have been like okay, because that movie seemed like it was dead on arrival. But like he did Chronicle, Capone. I enjoyed Capone. I know people didn't like it as much. Like he tried.
Wait, what are you trying? No.
Yeah,
all right, I'm gonna have to come back on this another time.
Okay, wait.
No, you don't like Capone?
Oh, I hate Capone so much.
Capone isn't that bad. You know what people were expecting? They were expecting an Untouchables or like Scarface type movie. But I like that they decided to show, his mind just seemed to be deteriorating, from the Alzheimer's, the syphilis and everything. And I just thought
So
some of the thing was a little confusing. Like, okay, that's like I think they should have marketed it. They should have marketed it better because it was supposed to come out in theaters, but it came out for straight to streaming.
because of
I wasn't
COVID.
going expecting Scarface or anything because I knew based on the trailers I wasn't going to get that. So I didn't think the trailers were all that great. I just wanted to watch it because one, it was Tom Hardy, and two, I thought Josh Trank was due for a comeback.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As soon as he starts chewing on carrots, taking their cigars, and he's shitting in his pants for like 20 minutes straight, that's when I was out. And it kept happening over and over. And the way it was executed, it was almost meant to be like, are we supposed to laugh at this? Because this is really sad and kind of like pathetic almost. It's just, yeah, the whole execution of that film, Mac. I really didn't like anything about it.
I just like the concept, and I have a soft spot for Josh Trank. I hope that like he gets his comeback one day to just like right the wrong that was Fantastic Four, and like but this is worse because Ben Falcone, like you said, he doesn't care what we think. He's just like screw you, I'm married to a Hollywood actress and I make money.
As he just like laughs all the way to the bank.
Yeah.
And one other thing, I didn't get to bring this up yet. Mantis was in this.
Who?
Mm-hmm.
Her.
Mantis.
Yeah, Palm Cloud stuff. Yeah. Why was she in it exactly?
I'm sure she was in it because, she, we see her play, a superhero, and it's like for her to play a supervillain just to bring in that MCU vibe, maybe bring some of that MCU audience vibe in. But
the funny thing is,
they also alluded to a sequel. Like, do you guys want a sequel? No.
No. Well, it's funny because now you think about it, and I'm watching. I'm like, why do you look familiar? And now you say Mantis, like, oh, okay. All right. I did not know. I really didn't know it was her. It took me like until you said that because I was just like, you look familiar.
Yeah, she's a great actress too. That's
she's a very good actress.
Yep, but another one to show up that's not necessary.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen her in Black Mirror, she does an episode of Black Mirror.
Yes.
It's really, really good actually. She's really good in it too. But back to Ben Falcone, he needs to just stop directing and just go back to being guest cameo roles in movies because I actually like him in some of his guest cameo roles.
Maybe he needs to find a TV series like a Chuck Lorre show or something.
I've been worse. Nope. Yeah,
I'll get canceled after one season. That's not gonna last too long. It won't.
Well, maybe if he's like a supporting husband, that's all he needs just to do, and he needs to come in for an episode. Okay, hi, bye. That's all he needs to do.
And it looks like here he's got another movie coming out called Margie Claus. And if that's what I think it is, I'm guessing we can all assume who Margie Claus is going to be. Melissa McCarthy's in it.
Yeah, that's the one thing he needs to do. He just needs to stop casting his wife because at this point, people are being like, you're just playing, like, you guys are just like kind of just not being experimental with your stuff. You're just kind of being like cookie cutter and like there's only so much. Because who said that they were sick of Melissa McCarthy? Okay, so Ross said it.
And that's why he raised his hand for anybody who cannot visually see it.
Yeah, Ben said it. So it's like I was talking to somebody the other day. I said Melissa McCarthy is going through the Kevin Hart cycle, where at first we all loved Kevin Hart and we thought like, hey, he's funny. He did a few movies, like, oh, you're funny, but then like he kept doing the same movie, and we're just like, okay, we're content with you, and we kind of really don't care. And Melissa McCarthy, she did Mike and Molly, she broke out in Bridesmaid, and it's like, okay, since Bridesmaid, you've been playing the same character, and then the one time you got serious, or the two times you did, the first time you got nominated for an Oscar, right?
Yeah, for Can You Ever Forgive Me?
Oh yeah. And but then the first
also in
the kitchen,
a minor role in the kitchen.
No, she was the main character.
She was also the support.
Uh-oh. I think that's Skype telling us that her opinion on Melissa McCarthy is invalid. But yeah, while we wait for her to get back, The Kitchen was not good. Like she's not.
Yeah.
She tries to do serious roles, but like her roles are not that good. Honestly.
With The Kitchen, Mac, I think I don't blame Melissa McCarthy too much for that. That the writing of that film was just atrocious. It was a horrible, horrible script.
Oh, Sam.
Because what I was more impressed with in The Kitchen, even though I didn't like it, was Tiffany Haddish.
Oh yeah,
she could really bring out some dramatic chops. So
I just think that like I don't know, Melissa McCarthy's at the point where she just needs to take a step back and think maybe working with my husband isn't. It's fun, but maybe it's not a good idea to involve like to value my career. To
Another.
Go ahead.
Sorry, another one with her too is Saint Vincent, which is a very little known movie, and she's a supporting role. So, but she does fine in that one. I like that movie. It's more of a Bill Murray vehicle, really. But I liked her in there. She's a nice, caring mother, and then has some funny lines too. And yeah, I feel like we're picking on them too, her and Ben. But if their movies were good, I think we'd say, "Oh, that's cute that they're a working couple together," and so it's kind of interesting. But yeah, since they're not that great together, it seems like then we'd like to see her branch out.
And Kristin has returned.
I have resurfaced. Sorry about that, folks. I lost internet for a hot second. I was evaporated.
That was Skype trying to tell you we don't care about your opinion of Thunder Force.
Yeah.
On it.
My internet was like, well, you're done with talking about Thunder Force, so we're going to save you the trouble.
It's funny to another thing with this movie that I just don't get is that the fact that it's on Netflix, people will watch it because people, no offense if you watch Netflix, it's just when they release a new movie and it's not good, it'll still end up in the top 10 because it's new and people are staying home and they'll find stuff to watch. And it's just like, it's annoying me because I'm like, man, this movie is like, Netflix has had more misses than hits than anyone was. Because people are like, Netflix, I love the original content. I was like, think about it. A lot of the original content are they're not good. If they're original, they're like, from them, it's bad. Or they have to go out and outsource to like from a YA novel, like The Kissing Booth. Can't wait for the third movie. But like, it's just, there's got to be a point where they just like, okay, we need to just make a whole division for just original movies where we can actually bring in someone like a Kevin Feige type role and oversee these movies so maybe they all won't be trash and not stop throwing stuff at the wall. Get McG to produce it, for Christ's sakes. Anybody.
Oh, I don't want McG to produce anything. Oh, boy.
No. We might be getting Babysitter 3. Man, so Ben, so.
Look,
we're getting a lot of sequels and thirds. Did you guys hear about the Tall Girl 2 sequel coming out?
I haven't even seen the first one, so I'm probably going to pass on the sequel.
I heard there's a Death Note 2.
Oh God, Death Note 2. We don't need that.
I did that first one was something else, but when it comes to Netflix, though, Mac, it's just like for every Irishman you get a Thunder Force, and so
true.
You get like three Thunder Forces.
Yeah.
Well, now we could say the new Knives Out and the new Russo brothers movie, The Gray Man, are original movies. Plus, we have some hopes for the Adam McKay movie coming out.
Let's face it, the Russo brothers Extraction.
Be very careful with what you say here, Mac. Be very careful about what you talk about.
Yes.
Be very careful.
Extraction was a mediocre to okay movie. All it was just the fighting and the action that people cared about.
Oh, Extraction. It's a fine action movie. It's not. You don't really go to that for the plot. Although it was really, it was trying a lot to be like Man on Fire. It kind of had the same sort of style to it a little bit. Yeah, The Gray Man, I'm looking forward to it because of Gosling and Chris Evans. I mean, those two together. Yes,
the whole entire cast. Arna Dana Armas is in it.
Yeah, so I'm excited. I just think Netflix is just a mess right now. They really are because they don't even market all their shows and movies correctly. You'll find I didn't know about Thunder Force like 2 days before it released. And I was like, oh, I might watch.
They post actually their trailers like a month in advance.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Or
because like
they
there's like the recent trailer like for Woman in the Window just came out, and I'm waiting for like months now to see a new trailer since Netflix bought the rights. And now they just released it recently too.
it's like
fingers crossed that's good.
they cancel
Yeah.
all their shows. Like, hey, this show's canceled. This show's ending. We got to do more. Big Mouth. You kids like Big Mouth, right?
No.
No, I've watched 2 episodes of Big Mouth and I had enough.
I think
Yeah.
that show is so absurd and awful. I can't even wrap my mind around it. There's a one guy who did a really, really good critique of it, how it was like one of the worst shows and how absurd it is. It's so good. I forgot who reviewed it. I'll have to bring it up in the next podcast, but yeah.
But if to wrap kind of this conversation up, what would all of you give Thunder Force out of your own ratings? Like 1 out of 10, like 1 out of 5, like star ratings.
Or Mac, which is what?
It's 2.5 out of 10.
I gave mine I typically do like a letter grade, so I gave it a D.
You're too nice.
It's for real.
Minus. You didn't let me finish. A D minus.
Still too nice.
Still too nice?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was just straight up F.
The fact that it's a superhero movie and they use tasers several times alone, it gets an F.
So stupid, the whole taser thing. I just want to keep saying
taser
face.
It felt like I was watching Super. Anyone remember that movie, the James Gunn movie, Rainbow?
I love Super.
Super was a good movie.
I feel like I know, but like with the whole taser thing, I'm like, that's something he would use, or Kick Ass when you had the taser, and I was like, oh my god, you're taking cues of good movies, you son of a bitch.
Son of a bitch.
What about you, Ben? What's your rating?
That's Rod.
Rod. Oh my god.
He's gonna keep. I knew you were gonna do this. I knew you were gonna do this.
Rod, what's your
So on Letterboxd, you score out of like 5 stars. So I gave mine a half a star out of 5. Yeah, I really this was a waste of a Friday evening for myself. I have the option to watch this or do a 2K tournament with some friends from school, and I should have done 2K. I really should have. But yeah, so I give this a 0.5 out of 5. But if we're scoring this out of 10, yeah, 0.5 out of 10. This is a good one. This is all.
Netflix, stop doing movies, or just take a step back and just stop and just bring in more experienced people. And I will leave you guys with one last good thought. Imagine if Ben Falcone did the 2016 Ghostbusters.
Well, I didn't like that movie to begin with, so
I will slightly defend that movie. Real quick, the original Ghostbusters is like my favorite comedy of all time. Ghostbusters 2, I think, has a few jokes and it's okay. And then I love the women of that movie. I think there are funny bits. Chris Hemsworth's good too. And it was cool seeing the original cast come back in the cameos. But the story for me was not that good. So yeah, if you had Ben Falcone coming in, the story would be even worse and not funny. So I shudder at the fact that could have happened. I don't know. That was really dramatic. It just came to mind. I don't know why I said that. But yeah.
But if that's it, I think we're gonna wrap this up with questions because my head hurts.
This film is dumb action, slashy / fatality with stupid narrative. It will be entertaining for fans of the games, but for others, not so much. The set pieces are boring. The narrative will not make sense for people who do not know anything about this, and the film feels very rushed. If it is better than the other MK live action films, but this isn't saying much.
Yeah,
my question.
Tomatoes right now.
What's the score on Tomatoes?
60%.
But so honestly, if you're judging it on the story, then I'm like, and you really haven't dived into the games that much because the story in the games isn't that fleshed out. There's still a lot of questions. But it's like, so if you're gonna compare that to the game or just as its own thing, I would just be like, man, anything is gonna be better than the '90s movies, even though the '95 movie has a special place in everyone's heart because it's like, it's not that bad in Annihilation, but like, I don't know, like you kind of knew what we were getting when we saw the Red Band trailer for this movie was more about the rated R instead of like a story. That's all I can think of.
I'm still debating whether I'm gonna go to my AMC and watch it or just watch this on HBO Max. I'm probably just gonna go to AMC and watch this.
Yeah, I feel like it'll be better on a big screen.
Fingers crossed on that one, but
yeah, that's true.
I mean, yeah, I'm not really too concerned about the Rotten Tomato score for this because, like you said, it's you were told everything in the trailer, so
yeah.
If you can't get on board with that, this is not for you. I just need a competent enough script and some okay performances. I don't need like, Shakespeare in the Park or anything, but just something to get me through this 2 hours.
Exactly.
I've played one round of one game at a bar once, and that's as far as I go. So I don't really care, honestly.
Well, I told you that I played a lot of Mortal Kombat in college, man. That was.
You're talking to a guy who had the Mortal Kombat on Sega Genesis. His family,
nice.
We all grew up. So my roots run deep with Mortal Kombat. I even played Mortal Kombat versus DC a few years ago. That's like one of the first games I rented from Blockbuster when they were still open.
Oh man, Blockbuster.
We'll reminisce more on video game because the question I got is kind of pertaining to a movie that has a good video game. So you guys all ready?
Yep. Yeah.
All right. So
you got the questions?
Yes, I do. Well, it's one question, but it could be a lengthy discussion because we all got good chemistry. All right. So we're gonna go in 3, 2, 1. All right. So questions. Do you have any questions for us? You can always leave them on our Instagram. So the M&K Productions Podcast Instagram, Kristin's Instagram, or my Instagram. And we got one question today, but I feel. Go ahead.
Or the new M&K Productions Podcast. Oh, you said that? Okay, I didn't hear you. Okay, my bad.
So we have one question today, but I do feel like this is a good discussion because we were talking about video games before we started recording. And this is a question from Good, real Good. They asked, what do you think of the 1979 film The Warriors?
I haven't seen it.
It's a classic.
What?
I have not seen it either.
This is one of Matt's favorite movies.
This is my second favorite movie.
Second? I've stand corrected.
If you haven't seen The Warriors, what can I say? It's a tremendous movie. It's a very if you want to talk about getting the setting of 1970s right in New York, The Warriors did a great job of that. And you can tell that Grand Theft Auto took a lot of inspiration with it, with the gangs and everything. Score is amazing. I like the story. The acting is really good for a lot of relatively new and unknown people at the time. And it's just a very quotable film. I'll shove that bat up your ass and tell you to do a popsicle. Can you dig it? Or Warriors come out to play. It's just awesome. That's a movie I'd say you have to watch it. Once.
I believe that's also the film that in the last episode that Donald Glover was in. Yeah, that's Childish Gambino, right? Donald Glover. That was the last episode that when Ken Jeong was on it. He was in the lockers. Have you guys seen Community?
I love Community.
Yeah.
I think that's the movie that Ken Jeong is referencing when he's in the lockers. I believe that's the movie.
Well, it's on HBO Max, so maybe I'll watch it in the next couple of days here.
Yeah.
You should watch the director's cut because it has enhanced audio and video. They had some deleted songs that they make the original movie and comic book scene transition because this is based on a book that was released in 1962. It is one of the rare media franchises that has had a good movie, a good book, and a good video game. Because has anyone played the 2005 Warriors game by Rockstar?
No, I have not.
No, I have not. You know me, I'm not great with video games, Max.
People are all cultured swines. I hate you, all of you.
I feel like Rockstar though, so
yeah.
Well, they did. That's a good game because it takes place before the movie with like half the missions, and the other missions are like stuff from the movie, and they kind of fill in the gaps in between stuff, and I do like that. It was really cool. So, but with Rockstar, I don't know where I was going with this. Oh, well, I guess this is my question to everyone. If you guys had to make one Rockstar series, a movie or a TV show, which one would you do?
Into a TV show or a movie?
Yeah.
Oh, for me, it would be either GTA or Red Dead.
Oh.
I would probably go with yeah, I'd probably go with GTA 5 or GTA, just any iteration of GTA. I feel like that would translate well into a movie, especially if directed by the right person who knows kind of that world.
Yeah.
There's a lot you can do with that, but there's also a lot you can do with Red Dead also. But then LA Noire is also another good choice.
Oh, I
too.
love
Oh, you still missed
Yeah. I want to play that game.
that.
Oh,
Would
Chris.
be, yeah, that would be my choice, and I'd recommend playing that.
So
yeah, I love detective stories and 40s and everything. And yeah, that the game's fun to play through. And then I remember just like getting to the end, and the end was crazy, and I was like, I mean, it was almost cinematic.
Yeah.
Playing through that and seeing what happened. So that was one of the first games where I was like surprised by the narrative and how good it was and everything.
That is the first game ever to be shown at, I think it was Tribeca or Cannes Film Festival, and it got like a standing ovation. With the,
wow.
Yeah, the cutscenes were like, a lot of people I played it like so many times. I have it on my PS5, and if you just sit down and you don't know it's a video game, you can think that it could be like a movie or TV series.
Yeah.
So they played all the cutscenes at I think a film festival, and they got like a standing ovation because it was so amazing.
Wow, I didn't know that.
It was a few years back. It's just like, yeah, I think I would make that into a movie series. And Kristin, you said you wanted to play it?
Yeah, I want to play it. I just haven't played it yet. If it's not on my boyfriend's computer, then I probably haven't played it.
It's a good game. I love it.
The last game I think I played was this game called Portals, and it was like a puzzle game.
Yeah.
Oh, Portal? Yeah.
Portals is great.
Yeah, I think that would be something interesting, and I could see someone like Alex Garland directing it, like a story. So.
Darren Aronofsky doing a Portal movie.
No, like Alex Garland's the guy who did Ex Machina.
Oh yeah, okay, maybe.
Or Neil Blomkamp could return.
That's a good one.
He needs money, so we need to get him back.
You know what, Max? Give me a HBO Max Red Dead series with James Mangold directing, and I'll be good with that.
Oh,
I want a Red Dead series with James Mangold.
That has been going around for years, though. If
they're doing Last of Us, I don't see why they can't do Red Dead.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The question: who would you get to play John Marston?
Oh,
James Marsden. No, I'm just kidding.
I wish.
You know what? Come back to me on that. That's tough.
I think Jeffrey Dean Morgan would be good as like Dutch.
I like Jeffrey Dean Morgan. But then he might be. I always think of The Walking Dead then, or Grey's Anatomy though.
But if that's going to do it for our discussion,
I actually have one question for myself. So, you guys are huge Marvel fans, which we have talked about, from your live stuff and all doing the Instagrams. You guys do a lot. What is the number one project you are looking forward to the most? Since if any of our viewers haven't listened to your podcast before, what is one film that you really, or series that you really look forward to if you had to pick one?
Well, movie for me, or can we just go not just this year, just like any year?
Yeah.
For me, it's Doctor Strange: The Multiverse of Madness. As far as movies go, especially after watching what Elizabeth Olsen did in WandaVision, I I am really curious to see what her role is going to be in the Multiverse of Madness next to Benedict Cumberbatch. And also, just are we going to get new iterations of characters like Tony or Cap or Widow or anybody else like that? So that's. But the main thing, Sam Raimi's coming back. We got Sam Raimi directing a comic book movie again. So sign me up.
Welcome back.
As far as the series goes, Falcon and Winter Soldier was actually my most hyped, but I'm really looking forward to Hawkeye. Really, especially after that cast announcement, and then of course the lovely Haley Steinfeld joined the cast. Yeah, sign me up.
I think it's gonna be really, really good.
For me, even though we talked about our reservations earlier, I love Spider-Man so much. So seeing the end of his trilogy, or at least his third movie, in the MCU, I'm really looking forward to. And whoever comes back, we'll see how that goes. But yeah, seeing him being a fugitive and how he comes back from the last movie would be really cool. And then show-wise, I think What If will be super interesting. And I'm really excited to see where they go there. But probably Loki, continuing story from the Marvel universe is I'm really excited for. I know we've got a lot of Tom Hiddleston and a lot of other projects, and he keeps coming back. But just the style and how he's going through different time periods and everything is interesting to me. So I'm excited to see that.
Yeah, for me, I'm for TV series. I'm gonna start off with that. I like What If because it looks like they're gonna do an episode about maybe one of the best underrated comic book storylines, and that's like Marvel Zombies. And I want them to do that. And if they were to end the MCU, that's how I want them to end it, just with Marvel Zombies. To everyone turn to a zombie, that'd be awesome. And I'm curious to see what Chadwick did before he passed away for his last role.
Mm-hmm.
And movie-wise, I would have to say I'm excited for Fantastic Four because this is the first time we're going to have a new Fantastic Four movie. And if they listen to us, maybe we can get freaking Emily Blunt and John Krasinski. But
that would be fun.
That makes too much sense, so that's probably not going to happen.
I've been on that hype train for a while. Ben and I talked about that a couple times on I think on our live streams mostly. Mm-hmm. Just the idea of John Krasinski and Emily Blunt. I mean, it's almost just too perfect. I feel like if it doesn't happen, we're gonna get a lot of pissed off people. I'll be fine with whoever they cast, but if they don't get one of the two, you're gonna get a lot of angry people.
Yeah, because it's literally they're born to play those roles.
Mm-hmm. So
for me,
Peyton Reed, I think is directing it also, right?
No, John Watts.
John, thank you, Janky. Yeah, John Watts.
For me, definitely Spider-Man because I love what they've done with the last film, and I'm a huge Spider-Man nerd. And series-wise, my most anticipated was Falcon and Winter's. Oh my God, yeah, Falcon and Winter Soldier. I was questioning how I was saying it for a second. Excuse me, how my tone of voice, but that was my most anticipated series, and I feel like the hype of WandaVision, how amazing that series turned out to be. It's so different, for that series. Am I enjoying it? Yeah, but it was my most anticipated, but I don't love it as much as I was hoping I would. So I think the next series I'm really anticipating is Hawkeye as well.
Yeah, I think that's kind of why some people haven't really been totally tuned into Falcon and Soldier, because WandaVision was just so good and just a complete surprise.
Different. It had all the stuff that a lot of people loved about Marvel, which makes it different than an ordinary film and everything. So for knowing it's just straight up Marvel, it's a Marvel film, but in a 6 hour. Falcon and Winter Soldier is just a 6-hour movie. That's what I meant to say. It's different, people are maybe like, okay, maybe we could have cut some of this down to make it a full movie, and just why not bother with everything else involved? I mean, there's a lot of stuff we have to go into, but I know we were over our time limit now.
But yeah, they're going to do Fantastic Four right. You can't go wrong a fourth time or fifth time. But anyway, that's going to wrap it up for today's episode. We want to thank the Affinity Film Podcast, for stopping by and chatting. It was so much fun. So many laughs we had, trashing Thunder Force, talking about video games, news, and everything. So I want to thank you guys for coming on. And for those, once again, where they can find you, what you got upcoming, and everything.
Yeah, so we can find us just on our Instagram page at the Infinity Film Podcast. We got a lot of stuff coming up. Really, we're getting ready to record a Nolan retrospective, director retrospective on Christopher Nolan this week. Talking about that. Gonna do a pretty hefty live stream on Thursday before the finale of Falcon Winter Soldier. And got some other stuff coming up. I think we're going to do some kind of 5-year anniversary also for Captain America Civil War. Just got to figure out how we're going to do that also. But that's just some of the stuff. Ben, anything else?
No, you hit the big ones there. And weekly shows coming out on Fridays. And then, like you said, the live streams on Thursdays. So watch out for that. And thank you guys very much for having us. It was a blast.
No problem. It was really, really fun. You guys are always welcome to come back on too. We always send open door for anyone who wants to come back on.
And follow their both pages individually at the Cinema Gallery. That's Rob, and that's Gallery with 3 L's. And for Ben's movie reviews, go to the Film Aficionado. Sorry, I wanted to plug in your own channels too.
Links will be in the description for everything. So I think that's going to do it for today's episode. I've been Mac. This has been Rod, Ben, and Kristin, and we will see you all next time. Peace.
Bye.
Fuck you in the lanes you came with. Me and you ain't on the same shit. You ain't in my lane, bitch. Nah, all that shit it fits. Rollie on my wrist. Ay, baby, you a star. I'm my only wish. I'm counting blue hundreds. I'm too money. Ay, and my little bitch, she too lovely. Yeah, hanging up and calling me right back. Ay, baby, why you calling me like that? Yeah, getting high with the seat laid back.